Your ideas help move this country. You are the American Innovator.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the American Innovator. We're traveling back to South Africa. If you remember last time we were in Ngala and we looked at the leopards of Ngala, and we just got dropped off at a very desolate remote airport, and we got back on the road and we were out to look for more incredible animals, and Dylan was just a fantastic ranger along with Adam. And here we came across a giraffe just running through the woods here. It was just really pretty cool. And then came across a little pond where some hippos were. And then Dylan said, uh-oh, I think I see something. And this is the power of a ranger and a scout. And indeed, he saw hyenas. Now remember, just the other night, we were looking at the leopards who were actually threatened by the hyenas, because the hyenas will actually go and try to take the food from a leopard. And here, the very next day, we actually end up finding a hyena that potentially was a threat to that gigantic leopard that was just about 5 feet from me. And now Dylan has driven the truck right up next to the den, and the hyena has 2 cubs, and the cubs are nursing, and we just sit there and just observe this whole process. And I think that was probably one of the best things about Africa, is there was a lot of times we just sat and watched and just got to see nature at its best. And this is what we got to do this time. So for a little while here, I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to let you listen to what Dylan has to say and what we're observing as the hyena is with her cubs.
I'll show you. Show you how it's done.
So Dylan wasn't lying, eh? That's given me credibility.
There's the mouse shot.
So I think the hard thing to understand is how close we are. You know, we're probably about 15 feet from the den, maybe 10 feet. And what happens is the cubs are interested in the truck, I guess, and us. They're a little curious. They're very young. And they come over towards the truck. And you kind of get the perspective right now. I'll pan the camera over and you'll see just how close the mother is. Now, you remember what a threatening animal the hyena is. One of the things we observed, though, is they're beautiful animals. And they have great motherly instincts, at least this female did. Now watch what the cubs do right now.
They probably won't come out until the mother comes out. Looking at him out. Just so inquisitive.
Now watch this right here.
Sure the time.
Right to the truck, and Dylan sticks his foot out.
Were you sticking your foot out so they could nibble on it?
No, I'm doing it so that if they touch the vehicle, I'll kick the side of the vehicle.
Oh.
Because we don't want them to touch the vehicle. It's just this.
It's not a good habit.
They're comfortable with us and all that, but they're still.
Now look at how close that mother is. Now you think about how ferocious that animal is. So that animal could jump up that tree and pull that impala down that the leopard had taken up, and look how close it is in proximity to us. I also notice, look how beautiful the tail is.
That's bringing it back into the hole now. You got it by the neck.
And now the mother's trying to get the cub back into the hole. It's just fascinating watching all this. So what I didn't tell you is Dylan knew about this den, and we had come by once before earlier and nothing was happening, and I had set a GoPro camera up on a tree with a little mount on a tree to kind of film the activity coming in and out.
That's beautiful.
And we didn't get anything. We'd come back after about 4 or 5 hours and no activity, and there's nothing on the camera.
Just so interesting.
And so then we came back by again, and this is what we got.
This is magical.
Pushing back in. Oh, look at her.
Well, we've probably been doing this den site for the last 6 months or so.
Really?
And we've had, I'd say every single year we find their den site, they use a handful of different spots. So she to be honest, I'd even hazard a guess, absolutely, totally indifferent to us being here.
Oh, they want to play.
In fact, the only thing that our presence does is entice a bit of curiosity from the little ones. They'll come smell us.
So needless to say, having never been to Africa, Africa just gets in your blood. When you get to drive around in an open vehicle and be next to wild animals in this close a proximity, this is an addicting forming habit.
Oh,
While
okay.
they're out
and
the
she
hole,
can't sleep.
she kind of has to be on watch.
Well, look how she holds her front legs. Oh, the other
And
one's
I mean, just look at her mother. Look how big her nose is, and then you take those big round ears. His sense of smell and
Look
his
at how
sense
the
of hearing
kids
is
don't want to go back
impeccable.
in the hole. They keep evading her. Yeah,
Okay, Mom says that's it. Everyone back in the hole. I'm tired of having you guys out here and watching you. So she gets a little more serious now about getting them in the hole.
Okay, we're going to start getting a bit more aggressive now. So she'll start nipping them. There we go. I think she sent a message in there. Get the females together.
And we were off again,
Oh,
and
he has
then we
a
found a
harem.
whole harem.
But he's not going
of
to give them mating
impalas.
opportunities because these girls are going to drop their babies in a somewhere along
And then
around here.
a blackback
Oh my
jackal.
gosh, beautiful.
Beautiful, like fox type animal. And we were very, very close to it. He's very docile and it's fascinating. Again, we got to just sit there and watch this animal
The hyena that's comfortable.
cross right in front of us. And then we came across this horn, the skeleton, in the sand bed, actually in the riverbed, and it had these worms in it that eat the horns. And another interesting thing that we learned, as we learned about how the ecosystem works, I asked Dylan what causes animals to die. And a lot of times it's because they lose their teeth. When they lose their teeth, they lose their ability to eat.
Tawny Eagle.
And then we did a bit of
It's a crested
bird
francolin.
watching, which is just fascinating.
They suddenly start standing.
Founded.
Personally, I've never been interested in birds, but now I am because they are fascinating. And this one's crazy. It pretends like it's going to dive and kill itself as a mating call.
But that's his display.
Whiteback vulture. And typically the stereotype is that these vultures hang out in dead trees, but because they have a 7-foot wingspan, they need to be in a dead tree because when they take off, they get bound up in all the branches. This is a starling?
This is the virtual starling, yeah.
A Burchell starling.
Virtual, no?
Burchell?
I mean, how pretty is that?
A little mongoose.
This is all impala though. Also, I mean, this is like a little midden son. So when he'll make his territory and all of that, you can see he's, a nice little ruminant.
So this is from one impala.
There's one impala holding his territory during his breeding season.
So he keeps coming back here over and over again.
It's all on the game pass, so every other impala knows that it's his spot. And then this is all looks like female rhinos.
And we know that because it's well digested, pretty tight.
All just grass. All grass.
Right, and if it had a lot more sticks and debris in it, it would be an elephant.
Elephants and black rhino is slightly different as well. And this is basically this is a female rhino walking through a male rhino's territory, advertising to him that she's here. So maybe looking for a mating opportunity. And for some reason, dung and mating goes hand in hand out here in the wild.
Oh. So what Dylan just said is this is the wild's box of chocolate right here. And this is the wild's chocolate raisins.
See how crazy this is though, look here.
Ooh, he's touching it.
See, he's got a tick on him. So I mean, even like these little guys are bug bug parasites.
And they're eating the manure. Or the,
Yeah,
or the dung.
there's probably a bit of grass there that didn't get digested too well.
Okay, we got some rhino dung here, and we're going to go investigating, and look what we found. A beetle. And he's in crap heaven.
Well, I'm sorry, but these dung beetles, they to me are probably one of the most fascinating things in Africa. They are industrious little guys that roll a ball of dung around with their mate on it. That's the female there. And she's hanging on and she's laying her eggs on the ball. And then he will bury the ball with the eggs so they hatch. And this guy, he just doesn't get a clue. This is a fight. These are two males fighting over the dung ball or the female. But he doesn't give up. He goes right back. And look at this guy rolling it down the road. And looking backwards. He's got his feet up and his head down. And he just keeps kicking this guy off. Get out of here. You ain't got a chance, buddy. Get out of here. Look at that. This is a real battle, man. This is like Gladiator. Look at this guy take off. Then I found one flying around. Could you imagine what it looked like watching me film this?
And then they come out like after the rain and heat, and they're all rolling it around. They're either going to feed on it or they're going to find a female and lay an egg in it, and then they'll bury it in a little hole. What I was telling everyone just now is that.
And if they don't like their mate, they bury the mate with the mate
too. Hey, get rid of her alive. But yeah, so they actually live for just a short little period there. It's like only a season. But for every hectare of land, which is what I guess just shy of 2.5 acres, they bury a ton of dung.
One beetle?
No, all the beetles in a hectare of land. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, but I mean, that's you take a property like this, 15,000 hectares, it's 15,000 tons of dung buried every single year.
Natural composting.
That's it. It all goes back to the earth.
So there you have it. And then we came across the elephants. I love the whole thing on the dung thing. I think that's really interesting. These elephants produce a lot of it. But the elephants are fantastic. And you know what? I don't normally do this, but I'm going to tease you because next week you're going to have to come back for the Hyenas of Ngala. Because what these elephants do is amazing. And we got it all on tape. 1, 2, 3. Nope, you got to come back next week to the American Innovator in Africa. We'll see you.
The American Innovator has been brought to you by FastCap. To hear more, just go to theamericaninnovator.com.